So Tim Walz spent his Labor Day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And folks, this guy is firing on all cylinders. He's doing everything right at this point in the game. He's the very energy that we needed so desperately on our side of the aisle. It kind of reminds me, being a musician and being in bands, there was times where me and the band, it would feel like we were getting burnt out. It would feel like we were kind of in a rut or spinning our wheels. And everything would start to feel repetitive. Everything would start to feel real redundant. And then we would end up getting a new lead guitar player or a new drummer, and they would just light a fire under our ass. And suddenly they'd bring it to the stage and they would start playing, so good that it inspired us to play good again. And we would remember why we were in it to start with. I think that's what Tim is doing here. I think the energy he is bringing to the table is causing everybody around him to play better. And that's what we needed so desperately at this point in the game. But I'm going to start off here showing you a couple of clips. And I love this one because I just love how this guy gets right straight down to the point and just tells it like it is. Donald Trump only knows how to take advantage of working people. Roll the clip.
I do say this. He does know something about working people. Donald Trump does. He knows how to take advantage of them. That's what he knows how to do. Every single chance these guys have gotten, they've waged wars on workers in the middle class. As president, Trump blocked overtime for millions of workers. Hell, why pay the bills? He doesn't pay his own. Why should we pay somebody for overtime? What are they going to do? That's what they do.
Yeah, all Donald Trump knows is how to take advantage of working people. And from day one, it's truly baffled me how that working people in my part of the world could continue to fall for this guy and honestly think that he has their best interest at heart. I mean, I get it that he empowers their hatred and allows them to be cruel, but he's done absolutely nothing for them, and he's never one time walked in their shoes. This guy has never once helped out a neighbor. Do you think he ever went over and mowed his neighbor's grass for free when the neighbor was going through an operation? Do you think he ever took the neighbor to a doctor's appointment? Did you think he ever went and got groceries for his neighbor or helped someone out? When has he ever just done everyday, day-to-day things that working people do? When has he ever punched a time clock and had to work from the bottom to the top? He didn't. He started on top. But what you got to remember is the only job where you start on top is digging a hole, and Donald Trump has been digging a hole his entire life. And hopefully, come November, it's going to be the final act of digging that hole, and he'll be out of the political arena for good. And we will be past him and his ridiculous politics of fear. Roll this next clip.
At the very beginning, Donald Trump has been running on the politics of fear. Look, I know something about that. I supervised the lunchroom for a bunch of years. Fear is a good short-term motivator, but it doesn't inspire people. It doesn't change their behaviors. And what I did know about that lunchroom too is the bullies who want to instill fear, they're the first ones to find out what happens when the tide turns. He's running scared now. He's running scared.
He is so spot on right there, folks. And don't forget what he said. Fear is a short-term motivator. I absolutely love that quote because it's so true. And Donald Trump has learned this. If you peddle fear, then you never have to come up with any solutions because you can always just run on the fear. That's why he didn't want to fix the border. That's why he was opposed to that. If it was the big problem that he said it was, he would have been all about fixing it. If he truly cared about people, he would be all about fixing it, but he wasn't. He said, let's keep that so that I'll have something to run on. What was he running on? Nothing but fear. And what is so crazy is watching people in my part of the world sit back and cheer this guy on when he goes down to Mar-a-Lago and he stands up in front of his rich buddies and he tells them, I'm going to give you a tax break. Well, I love Tim Walz's response to all that. This is great. Take a look.
Guy has made it clear how he stands. He's sitting down at Mar-a-Lago after he got elected president, and this was his exact quote. He's talking to a bunch of folks at Mar-a-Lago. You're rich as hell, and we're going to give you a tax cut. At the same time, he was telling workers they get paid too much already. That's who this guy is. You tell me who in Wisconsin is sitting around saying, damn, I wish they'd give billionaires tax cuts and screw me over. Damn, I wish they'd take my health care away. I wish they'd underfund my public school. I wish they would make my job more difficult and more dangerous. And then at the end of the day, I wish they'd make me work till I'm 75 years old. No one's saying that. No one's asking for that agenda. What they're asking for is to be treated fairly with dignity. That's what we have.
Folks, I love that energy, and I've been dying for a Democratic politician to come out and talk like that and just bring it right home to people. That's what you have to do. You have to absolutely bring it home. And that's what Tim Walz is doing here. Who in their right mind is saying these things? Who is saying, yeah, we want to be taken advantage of. Yeah, go ahead and give your rich buddies a tax break and just forget all about us. It's so good to see someone bringing this energy and taking it to them. and also reminding them, you know what? The Republicans love to talk about they're the party of smaller government, but actually they're not at all. This one's great, folks.
I know. We all know this. I remember a time when Republicans talked about things like freedom, they meant it. They would never turn their back on our allies. But that's not these guys. Trump and Vance, when they talk about freedom, means government should have the freedom to invade every corner of our life. They talk about small government, small enough to be in your bedroom, small enough to be in your exam room, small enough to be in your library, telling you the things that you should make decisions about. So let's be very clear. Where I come from and where you come from as neighbors, we respect differences. That's your opinion. Look, we're sitting here together, Brewers and Twins fans, Vikings and Packers. Look, we respect it. But on things like health care and what books I read and democracy, we all live by that very simple golden rule. Mind your own damn business. Mind your own business. Your Republican neighbors want to live that way. We have to.
Folks, how many times here on the channel have I said we can agree to disagree about pineapple on a pizza? Okay, that's all right to do that. You can disagree about sports, but you can't just agree to disagree on democracy. And you can't sit back and say, oh, I'll agree to disagree on the government just running rampant over our lives. And what's so funny about that clip of Tim Walz to me is that if I had have went into some sort of a coma and just woke up, like say I went into a coma in the year 2000 and I just woke up and looked around and I saw a middle-aged white dude on TV saying the government should stay out of our lives and mind their own damn business, I would think he was a Republican. But that's how far that Trump and Vance have fell from the true Republican Party. They're not Republican, and they're not conservative at all. They are an extreme fringe of the movement. They are a radical fringe of the movement, and they're extremely loud right now because they have the microphone. But we just have to stay focused on this thing and win this thing come November, and then we can have Harrison Walz making the decisions and not a bunch of radical maniacs trying to stick their nose in our damn business. But this last clip I absolutely love because Tim does address how that MAGA has tried so desperately to find something to pin on him, and this next one is pretty damn funny. Take a look.
I saw last week the Wall Street Journal was trying to say, because they did a story, that apparently I am the poorest person to ever run for vice president. So then, but then they did another story that said, oh, he's actually richer than his statement says because he has, and I quote, like this is an evil thing, a defined benefit pension plan. That is my wish for every American, to have a defined benefit pension plan.
You know, every time MAGA tries to flex on this dude, they just make him more likable. They make him more relatable. Oh, he's got a pension plan? Oh, that makes him the bad guy? When all of the skeletons of Donald Trump just come pouring out of his closet, they didn't bat an eye at any of that. As a matter of fact, they go to bat every day. We see J.D. Vance on TV trying to do damage control for something else Donald Trump has said, for some other flip-flop that Trump has made. And then when they try to make Tim Walz the bad guy, oh, he's got a pension plan. Oh, my God. And then he's standing there saying, yeah, I've got one, and I want everyone to have one. The more they try to cut this guy down, the more they just build him up. Folks, he's bringing the exact energy we need right now. Like I said before, it's like having that new hot lead guitar player that just inspires everyone in the band to play better. That's what Tim Walz is doing. He actually inspires me to be better making these videos because for so long I've just been starved for somebody on the left to come out with that type of energy and just bring it home to people. Just bring it down to earth. You know, like I've said before, you could say the most educated statement you could make, and if you said it with just in a monotone way and pointed at a chart, no one cares. It's all in how you can deliver it. And when you see the people behind Tim Walz getting excited and getting energized, it's a good thing. And they're not laughing because he's being cruel to people. They're not laughing because he's insulting people and coming up with nicknames for people. That's not why they're laughing. They're laughing and they're smiling. They're getting pumped up because I guarantee they're having the same thought the rest of us is having. Dang, this is so refreshing. It's so refreshing to hear a Democratic politician just bring it home. And he does every time. He is the absolute perfect lead guitar player that our band needed at this point in the game.